Q.5 Features of the Indian Constitution. 1. Conceptual Introduction. The Constitution of India, adopted on 26 November 1949 and enforced on 26 January 1950, is the supreme law of the land that lays down the framework for governance, rights, and duties in the world's largest democracy. It reflects the historical struggle for independence, the plural character of Indian society, and the aspiration to build a just and egalitarian order. Described as both a political and a moral document, it combines the best features of various constitutional systems while adapting them to India's unique social and cultural context. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the chairman of the drafting committee, called it a vehicle of life and a spirit of change. 2. Longest written constitution. The Indian Constitution is the lengthiest written constitution in the world. Originally containing 395 articles, 22 parts, and 8 schedules, it now has more than 470 articles and 12 schedules after numerous amendments. Its comprehensiveness stems from the diversity and complexity of Indian society, the need to accommodate both central and state powers, and detailed administrative provisions that other countries leave to ordinary laws. 3. Blend of rigidity and flexibility. The Indian Constitution strikes a balance between rigidity and flexibility. Like the US Constitution, certain provisions, such as those affecting federal structure, can be amended only by a special majority of Parliament and ratification by half of the states, while others can be amended by a simple majority. This design ensures stability through rigidity and adaptability through flexibility, allowing the Constitution to evolve with changing circumstances. 4. Federal system with a unitary bias. India is described as a federal state with a strong unitary tendency. It divides powers between the Union and the states under 3 lists: Union, State, and Concurrent, but in times of emergency, the system becomes unitary, concentrating power in the center. The existence of a single constitution, single citizenship, integrated judiciary, and the power of the center to reorganize states emphasize this unitary bias. Hence, India's federalism is cooperative rather than competitive, blending unity with diversity. 5. Parliamentary form of government. The Indian Constitution establishes a parliamentary system based on the British model. The President is the constitutional head, while the real executive power lies with the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister, who is responsible to the Lok Sabha. This system ensures collective responsibility, harmony between the executive and legislature, and accountability to the people. Unlike the American presidential system, India's executive derives legitimacy from the legislature. 6. Fundamental rights. Part 3 of the Constitution guarantees fundamental rights to all citizens as a shield against state encroachment. These include the right to equality, freedom, protection from exploitation, freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and constitutional remedies. They form the foundation of India's democratic ethos. The Supreme Court's power to enforce these rights through judicial review strengthens constitutional supremacy. For example, landmark cases like Keswananda Bharti v. State of Kerala and Maneka Gandhi v. Union of India expanded the scope of these rights. 7. Directive Principles of State Policy, DPSPs. Enshrined in Part 4, the directive principles are moral and social guidelines that direct the state to establish a welfare society based on justice, social, economic, and political. Inspired by the Irish Constitution and Gandhian ideals, They include goals such as equitable distribution of wealth, promotion of education, and protection of the environment. Though non-justiciable, they serve as fundamental governance principles, influencing policy decisions and judicial interpretations. 8. Fundamental duties. Added by the 42nd Amendment, 1976, in Part 4A, the fundamental duties remind citizens of their moral responsibilities toward the nation. They include respecting the Constitution, national symbols, and heritage, promoting harmony, protecting the environment, and developing scientific temper. They balance rights with responsibilities, reinforcing civic discipline and national integration. 9. Secular state. The Indian Constitution embodies secularism, ensuring equal respect and protection to all religions without favoring any. It does not establish a state religion, but guarantees freedom of conscience and the right to practice, profess, and propagate any religion. The preamble, as amended in 1976, explicitly declares India to be secular, while Articles 25 to 28 ensure religious liberty and separation of religion from politics. Indian secularism, unlike the Western model of strict separation, promotes equal treatment and tolerance of all faiths. 10. Independent judiciary and judicial review. The Constitution establishes an independent judiciary headed by the Supreme Court to uphold the rule of law, protect fundamental rights, and interpret constitutional provisions. Through the power of judicial review, the courts can strike down laws that violate the Constitution. This system ensures checks and balances among the organs of government. The judiciary's activism has expanded its role from mere interpretation to ensuring social justice and accountability. 11. Universal adult franchise and democratic character. The Constitution grants the right to vote to every citizen above the age of 18, irrespective of caste, religion, gender, or wealth. This universal suffrage makes India's democracy inclusive and participatory. It embodies the principle of political equality, ensuring that every individual has an equal voice in governance. 12. Fundamental unity with cultural diversity. Despite linguistic, regional, and religious diversity, the Constitution seeks to promote national unity. It recognizes 22 languages in the 8th Schedule, protects minority rights, and allows states to preserve their cultural identities. Simultaneously, it upholds the ideal of unity through institutions like an integrated judiciary, All India services, and single citizenship. 13. Single citizenship. Unlike the federal system of the United States, where citizens hold dual citizenship, state and national, India provides only single citizenship. Every Indian is an equal member of the Indian Union, enjoying equal rights and privileges throughout the territory. This feature reinforces the unity and integrity of the nation. 14. Emergency provisions. The framers introduced emergency provisions, Articles 352 to 360, to safeguard national security and stability during crisis. There are three types of emergencies: national emergency, state emergency, president's rule, and financial emergency. These provisions allow temporary centralization of power to restore normalcy but have also faced criticism for potential misuse, as seen during the 1975-77 emergency. 15. Preamble as the soul of the Constitution. The preamble declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and outlines the objectives of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. It reflects the spirit and Philosophy of the Constitution, serving as its interpretative guide. The Supreme Court in Keswananda Bharti held that the preamble is an integral part of the Constitution and embodies its basic structure. 16. Independent constitutional bodies. The Constitution establishes autonomous bodies such as the Election Commission, Controller and Auditor General, CAG, Union Public Service Commission, UPSC, and Finance Commission to ensure impartial administration and accountability. Their independence ensures the smooth functioning of democracy and the integrity of public institutions. 17. Mix of borrowed features. The Indian Constitution is a unique synthesis of global constitutional principles. From the British system, it borrows the parliamentary model and rule of law from the US, the federal structure, fundamental rights, and judicial review from Ireland, the directive principles from Canada, a strong centre, and from France, the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Yet, its distinctiveness lies in indigenizing these elements to suit Indian realities. 18. Summary for quick understanding. The Indian Constitution is comprehensive, federal yet unitary, democratic yet flexible, and secular yet integrative. It combines political liberty with social justice, ensuring both individual rights and collective welfare. Its endurance and adaptability make it one of the most successful constitutions in the world. 19. Quick revision notes. Longest written constitution blend of rigidity and flexibility, federal with unitary bias, parliamentary democracy, fundamental rights and duties, directive principles of state policy, independent judiciary, secular and democratic character, single citizenship, emergency provisions. 20. One-line questions and answers for revision. 1. When did the Indian Constitution come into force? On 26 January 1950. 2. Who is known as the father of the Indian Constitution? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. 3. What is the nature of India's federal system? Federal with a unitary bias. 4. Which part contains fundamental rights? Part 3. 5. What ensures state policy guidance? Directive principles in Part 4. 6. When were fundamental duties added? By the 42nd Amendment in 1976. 7. What does the preamble declare India to be? A sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. 8. What kind of government does India follow? Parliamentary system. 9. What power ensures constitutional supremacy? Judicial review. 10. What principle does universal adult franchise embody? Political equality. 21. Final connection. The Constitution of India is both a legal framework and a moral compass that guides the nation's democratic journey. It unites an immensely diverse people under common ideals of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Its strength lies not merely in its written text but in its living adaptability, evolving through interpretation, amendment, and civic participation. It continues to express the aspirations of a free and democratic India. Q.6 Rights given under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution.